Hello, it's the 25th of June and this is my mini veg plot, which is part of an experiment I'm doing to see how much value I can get out of some seeds, which cost me in total £2.97. I've got 4 miniature raised beds here which I made out of 2 very large planters cut in half, and I've sown various seeds, all which came included in that £2.97. To my far left there I've got 2 varieties of lettuce, carrots, beetroots, another lettuce, radish, spring onions, and I actually can't remember what that one is. I'm going to have to refer to my plan. But today is the day I'm going to make my first harvest. Oh, by the way, behind me here I've got several varieties of herbs, some tomatoes and some cucumbers. I've already had several cuts of cress off the cress. The cress started growing within a week, and I can remember from my school days we used to sow cress on the window ledge on wet tissue and it used to just grow in no time. So the cress has more than paid for itself. I'll put a value on the cress when I come to do the final analysis, but today I'm going to take out these radish. I was doing some research onto radish. The radish grew very quickly, and I could see little purple radish bulbs underneath the soil appearing within a couple of weeks of sowing the seeds. Yesterday I was doing some research on YouTube, in fact, about how to harvest radish, and it turns out you shouldn't leave them in the ground too long because they can become very woody and very peppery. And some of these radishes, when I'm looking at them, are really quite large. It did say that you could harvest them up to the size of a golf ball. None of them have reached that size just yet, so maybe I'm going to get away with it. But when I glance underneath this canopy of leaves, I can see at least a dozen quite nice plump radishes. So I'm going to bring you the camera closer in so that you can see what I'm doing, and we'll harvest these radish and then we'll go away and do a taste test, and at some point I'm going to put a value on these radishes. So let's get harvesting. Oh, by the way, I bought this old fork out with me because it's a great little tool for digging delicately into the soil. But this tool here is a fork. It's a carving fork. This was my mum and dad's, one of my mum and dad's wedding present, and I've inherited it. So it's come in handy. It's really an incredible thing because it's been through the dishwasher 1,000 times and it's still as good as new. They don't make things like they used to do. Let's use this to start harvesting some of those radishes. I need my glasses on to do this. Now you won't be able to see me, but you will be able to see my hands as I go in. So let's gently use this carving fork to just go under this really quite plump radish and gently tease it out. And there we are, my first ever radish. I'm quite pleased with that. I'm going to keep the leaves because I'm going to do some research and find out if I can eat them as a salad crop. Let's put it in the bowl here. And let's go in for some more. Where have I put my fork? There it is. And there's number 1. Here's another one. Out you come. Number 2. Number 3. A little bit smaller, but nevertheless edible. Number 4. Now look at that tiny little one there. That's failed to grow yet. I'll leave that in place to see if it recovers. I'm going to have to move the bowl out of the way slightly. See if I can balance it there. There's another one that looks as if it's at eating size. In fact, there's 2 there close together. So let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone. 2 radishes with 1 stone. And let's place them in the bowl. I'll try and do it as attractively as I possibly can. Try and emulate Nigella Lawson there. Look at these here. Let me get the camera close in. Now we're on handheld camera now so that you can get a close-up. And what seems to happen with radishes, you plant the seeds in the ground. These are weeds, ignore these. You can see the radish, they're pretty obvious. You plant the seed in the ground and cover it with a little bit of earth, and the seed germinates and starts to grow. And the first evidence of any life is the green above the ground appears, and then slowly, where the green touches the earth, you start to see a kind of purpling, and that then swells into this root, which first of all starts off under the ground and then emerges and starts to swell. And you can see here half of the growth is now above the ground, and I would say, looking at these and extrapolating their shape down into the earth, these are probably just about edible and harvestable. So let's take them up. I'm going to find one that's not quite grown as much, and you can see what I mean about them starting off under the ground. Look at that. Tiny little radish, about not quite an inch in diameter. And this root here, look. I wonder if that would have swollen further down the root and become quite a big radish. A bit like the first one that I pulled out. Let me bring that first one back so that we can compare the two. There's the first one. So, little and large there you can see, and I wonder if I'd left this in the ground, it would swollen down there into that root and made one this big. Anyway, they can both go back in the bowl with the others. And what we're up to here now, 2, 4, 6, 8 radishes. Very nice. Again, we'll move the bowl out of here and we'll have another look. See there at the back is one that's not developed quite yet. So let's take some soil. Let's just sprinkle that over there and leave that in the ground, and let's see if it comes through for us. In the meantime, let's go in and take that one. And that lovely big one there at the back, look. Oh, that's split, look. I think that's what I was saying about the fact that it's possibly been left in the ground too long, that, and you can see it started to split there. It's swollen, it's got too big, and it's split at the seams. I'm going to taste that later and see if indeed it is extremely woody and peppery. But for now, that can go into the bowl with the others. There's another one, a large one at the back. Out you come. And there's another one in the middle at the back there. Out we come. So, come back to these in a moment. I just want to look at these that I've left in the ground, see what we can do with them. So that one there, there's one under the ground here. What's going on here? Is that a big one? Yeah, that's big enough to eat. That can come out. So I'm now left with a tiny one, a baby one, a funny shaped long one, and another one that's a weird shape but probably just about edible. That one's got dimples in it. I wonder if that's some kind of disease or whether it's just laid against a stone. Maybe it's where it was resting against that stone. Interesting. But so what do I do with these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 radishes. And there's another one down here, 6 radishes. Do I leave them in situ? Or do I pull them up and sow another crop? Time to make a decision. I'm going to get them all out and sow another batch. Let's get them all out. 1, 2. What's under there? Any surprises? Oh, a little tiny baby one. And finally, last but not least, let's pull you out in the corner. Rammed into the corner, and that's affected its shape. I'll put that in there, and then we'll go and do some analysis. So there we go, my first ever radish harvest. I don't know if that's one there. No, it isn't. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clear all these weeds out of this bed and sow another little crop of something, possibly even radishes again. Again, I've learned that radishes are a very quick crop to grow, so you can do radishes every couple of weeks in rotation and keep providing salads for your table. This fork will be used to carve meat in a few weeks' time when I do a Sunday roast. Anyway, let's get all these weeds out. And then, when I've removed all these weeds from this bed, I'm going to lay out my crop of radishes on the top. That one there's virtually useless, but we'll see what the leaves taste like if we're allowed to eat them. 1, 2. $14 radishes. Let's get them into the fridge. Actually, before I put them in the fridge, would you like to see me taste one? Let's have a go with this. This one here, this one that's broken open. Let's see if it is woody and peppery. And let's take one which is a more regular size and see if that's woody and peppery. I've just touched a stinging nettle there. What was that? Let's go with that one and that one. See whether there's a difference in the taste. I'm not averse to eating a little bit of soil because it's probably good for you in some ways, but I've also brought my little hose pipe over just to give them a bit of a cursory wash down. What an attractive bunch of root crop there, radishes. Wash the bowl out. Put them back in the bowl, and then I said I was going to taste test them. I'll turn that off before I get drenched. And here we have the great big split one, and we said we'd try a regular average size one, and there's one of those. Nicely clean. Let's go with this one first. Keep those just in case they're edible. Not woody, not overly peppery, crunchy, delicious. Clearly it tastes of radish. Very enjoyable actually. Juicy, peppery, full of water. They do say you must keep them watered once they've started to produce a fruit to stop them from bolting. Well, my first ever radish from my first ever veg plot was a great success. Peppery on a scale of 1 to 10. On my scale, I'm going to say 6 or 7. I'm going to try a smaller one to see if it's less peppery or indeed tastes any different. It's sweeter. The experience is very similar actually. I would say the initial bite was slightly sweeter. It's just as crunchy, just as juicy. Delicious. So there we are. My first ever radish crop. I'm going to give some of these to my neighbours who've been giving me eggs and manure for my no-dig veg plot, which I'm digging on the other side of the garden. It's great to share. I'm also going to put them in the fridge and enjoy them with some salad. Talking of salad, I understand, again from my research, that a lot of these lettuces are considered cut and come again lettuces, which basically means you can chop leaves off from around the edge and just add them to your salad bowl, and the plant inside just continues to grow. So I'm going to do that with some of them. Others, I'm going to migrate to the no-dig veg plot, which I've just created yesterday on the other side of the garden. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed sharing my experience of my first ever radish crop. The spring onions are here, they're coming along quite nicely. Join me again soon, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Comment below, what do you think of this? A little bit of an impromptu video if I'm totally honest with you. And I'll see you again very soon, hopefully, for some more vegetable gardening.